was worried about his stamina for the full race distance, and limping in now is Barrichello. Poor Rubens Barrichello, and Schumacher's coming into the pits, we believe, in which case now, there, and that looks suspicious. Michael Schumacher, that's Rubens Barrichello there. Now he was languishing back in 16th place, he got up to 14th, but clearly problems there for Barrichello. He's now being pushed, I think, up the pit lane, but it looks like his race is over. But a good stop from Schumacher, looks like to be. He's going to have a look, and he goes through. So brilliant, and he's held his line. This is what a Lacey did. Schumacher takes it. Barrichello runs wide, outbreaks himself. Schumacher nips back on the inside, but he's under terrific pressure, and they're coming up behind Luca Badoer now in the 40, who's already been lapped 3 times. If he gets it wrong, and off goes Rubens Barrichello, trying too hard, and this is heartbreak time for the young Brazilian. He's blown it. He's thrown away the chance of a 3rd position. He would certainly have been 4th, and it's another awful Brazilian Grand Prix at his home track at Interlagos. Was getting from Irvine. Here's a replay. Let's have a look. Really, I'm not sure something went wrong with that Jordan there, because he really wasn't looking to have a go at Schumacher. He knew he couldn't get any advantage by braking super late. He was just, again, keeping pace, keeping position. Another look there at the same thing. It looked to me as if there's just a small chance something went wrong with that Jordan car to cause him to spin like that. On the other hand, we do know that he went very wide at that corner, the first S, on the
Yeah, but there's a long way to go.
Yes, Rubens Barrichello has just come into the pit lane as very early in the race, so you can only unfortunately assume that's the problem with his Stewart Ford that he's come in to remedy. He was 10 seconds slow on that lap. He could have a drama or two.
Drivers going over it. Yeah, sure enough, there is the Stewart being withdrawn from the race. Rubens Barrichello is out.
No Grande Prêmio de Melbourne, na Austrália. E o Rubinho não dava mais para ele, estava perdendo cada vez mais contato. Então ele para fazer sua segunda troca. Com isso vai perdendo a 11ª posição para Herbert. E fica perigando perder também a 12ª posição para Damon Hill. Aí vai chegando o Rubinho. Ele vai abandonar. Eu disse que ele vinha perdendo muito contato com o Panis, que vinha na 10ª posição, recolhe o carro direto para a garagem. Rubens Barrichello fez um belo serviço, um belo trabalho com a Stewart, andou sempre ali entre os 10 primeiros e agora vai abandonando depois de 57 voltas, Reginaldo.
Reasonable amount of fuel, the same amount of fuel. That is a Stewart, that must be Barrichello. Barrichello out of the race, and he's lost his 3rd place.
Oh dear, and after all the promise.
Yeah, that's a smoking engine, so clearly some kind of top-end problem in the engine, I'd imagine. Hasn't exploded in a big way, but whenever you see a mixture of blue and white smoke coming out of the back, you know water and oil have mixed, and there's some serious gremlins going on in there.
Well, a downcast, crestfallen, obviously disappointed Rubens Barrichello waves to the crowd. They'll be just at the point, and they'll start to leave now, I bet you, as Pedro Diniz now, admittedly leading that race. And Rubens Barrichello, thoughtful and cheerful as ever, acknowledges the crowd as he walks home after a brilliant drive.
And 11th places, and a puff of smoke from the back of the Ferrari there. Rubens Barrichello slowing down, and it looks as though he's out of the race. He is out of the race. That filter problem with the air valves in Australia has got a strong Mercedes engine
this weekend, and that obviously is Barrichello recovering to the pits. The car stopped smoking now for whatever reason, but I'm certain he's going to be out of the race, of course, and the main thing he's got to do is make sure they don't park in the pit garage if Michael has to come in a hurry, but in the pit box. But Rubens, look, undoing is James.
Yeah, he switched the engine off. There's a lot of smoke coming out of the back of the car. The Ferrari mechanics now have a problem because obviously there's nowhere for them to put the car at the moment because the garage is full of tyres and fuel rigs. So there's a big debate going on as to whether they're actually going to stick it and get it out of the racetrack, but an immense disappointment on the part of Rubens. It's really a very, very
slower than Mika Hakkinen as the Ferrari mechanics look plaintively at the back of Barrichello's car. Obviously there was a momentary fire there because they've got the extinguisher out and they're mopping up the remains now. We're on lap 3.
David Coulthard third, fantastic.
Well, there's a warning shot, isn't there, already for Michael Schumacher. Montoya is well known to be very good and very aggressive in traffic. Oh, and that's Barrichello. That's finished his afternoon off, hasn't it?
And he's hit Ralf Schumacher up the back. Rubens Barrichello trying to be a bit too aggressive into late descent, and what a dramatic start to this Brazilian Grand Prix. Unbelievable incident from start to finish. Rubens' race car, of course, packed up on the formation lap. Take us through it, Martin.
Yeah, well, look, Barrichello steaming in very late behind and just missed his braking point, really. Ralf quite cautious. That's the second time this year that somebody has run into the back of Ralf. We saw it, of course, we saw it with Villeneuve in Melbourne, and it just seems as if Barrichello was unsighted. Ralf there having to watch the Jordan, the rear wing go, so Ralf is out of the race. That's a 1 hour job to fix that at least. And it's spotting with rain, we hear. There's a lot of debris down then at turn 4 already. And Barrichello, what an afternoon he's
having an incredible time. Of course, he'd set the fastest first sector time, not surprisingly. Just before he did that, he really had the bit between his teeth, the local hero. But Montoya is still leading this motor race. Michael Schumacher is second, Coulthard third, Trulli fourth, French back of Montoya. And you can see again the incident, Barrichello running into the back of Ralf Schumacher.
That was almost inevitable, really, with all of that running back to the pits. As calm as he looked, I'm afraid it is just about impossible to really keep your head straight. I doubt Michael would hardly have felt that, even if he knew about it. It was just the merest kiss that clapped that front wing off Montoya's car. 20 runners then. We've lost Bernaldi in the arrows. He's retired into the pit lane. We don't know why yet.
Whoa!
And
look at this, when it's slowing down. Barrichello is slowing down, he has a problem. Michael Schumacher dives through into the lead, and would you believe it? The Sao Paulo jinx has hit Rubens Barrichello once again. 7 times in a row he has retired from this race, and this looks like number 8. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. The Brazilians in front of us have got their heads in their hands, and so has poor old Rubinho. He cannot get a break at this track.
We'll have to see a replay. It looked like suddenly the car started to snap sideways on him a little bit, and I would guess a transmission problem of some sort. Clearly the engine's still functioning, but maybe differential transmission, drive shaft, something like that, that's taken away the drive. He's coasting downhill, but unless he's got some kind of drive in there, he will never get out of Juncao up to the pit lane unless, no, and he knows that. Look, he's clearing to the inside to give them the racing line, and he's not going to make it up the hill, way into the infield for Rubens Barrichello. Not such a long walk back to the pits, but what has he got to do? 8 retirements.
Well, he was disappointed when he arrived here on Thursday that he wasn't being given a 2002 specification Ferrari like this one being driven by Michael Schumacher. They only had one that was fully ready. So Rubens was consigned to the old 2001 car which they'd started the season with. That disappointment was nothing, could be nothing compared to the way he feels right now. I don't know what the Brazilian for what he's feeling is now, but I wouldn't want a translation of what he's muttering inside that helmet.
Yeah, I think he just lost drive completely, James, and that's what made him have a bit of a sideways moment. That's why it's almost like switching the engine off if suddenly you lose drive like that. So Schumacher...
This season, VAR have been really off the pace. Rubens learning to live with the disappointment.
He's walked that path a few times, hasn't he, at this circuit? And it's just tough at your home Grand Prix when the fans expect so much and you just can't deliver for one reason or another. He's been off the road, or he's had mechanical failures, or somebody's run into him. He's had all sorts of aggravation. Do that unless the car's underneath you and the tyre's working.
And the drying line appearing, you're looking for it all the time, obviously trying to stay on the dry stuff as much as possible, but do you not have to keep these things quite cool as well?
Yeah.
Well, he's slowing, is he?
Yes, he is.
He's slowing, Rubens Barrichello. I don't believe it. He's retired here 8 years in a row. He was leading here last year and this happened. Coulthard goes past him. Raikkonen goes past him. Ralf Schumacher goes past him. And you hear that thump. That's thousands of hearts in Sao Paulo in the grandstands hitting the floor. Rubinho is out of the race. Oh my goodness.
No. Nobody can be that unlucky.
Both Ferraris out of the race then. No one could or should be that unlucky. What can you say? That's the 9th straight year he's retired here, and he had it won.
Yeah, and if I was him, I'd get out of there. It seems to be safer on the racetrack today than on the grass. The number of cars have been flying across the grass. And Rubens Barrichello, well, you can't say anything. There's nothing to be said. The guy was driving beautifully. He had the car where he needed it. scampering off into the distance, and it just evaporates.
19. We've had a couple of safety cars, and well, if a picture could paint 1,000 words, then what would Rubinho be saying? No one dares approach him.
He's such a nice bloke as well. He's such a genuine, proper bloke that, you know, he just the emotions must be going through his head now, and what have I got to do? What have I done wrong? Who have I upset in another life? Because, you know, as I said earlier, he grew up 2 or 3 streets away from here.